Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence, and today I thought we would have a little bit of fun laughing at some people who really have it coming because they are absolute beep. That was a censored word. Basically, just imagine all the swear words, right? Imagine I said all of them at once in one big globular mess, like blab. Right, that was all the swear words at once. And that's not even enough swear words to describe just how despicable the people that we're referring to today actually are. So 3, 2, 1. That's the OBS up and running. So this is a guy called Myron Gaines X. Right. So I was watching this Louis Spears thing. I don't watch Louis Spears really, but this came up and I enjoy having a nice little laugh at these alpha male sort of things because they're so stupid. I like these sort of boy ones as well. Shut up. Where they're reacting to just various stuff. Like they did this one reacting to Andrew Tate, and they kind of talk about how he's basically just like the Matrix is basically just a code word for capitalism, but he can't say capitalism because he makes most of his money via the current status quo system. Anyway, so Myron Gaines is a man who they've all got these same microphones. They've also got this sort of contrasty kind of look to everything, and I'm not quite sure how they managed to do that. Right? Look, I can turn the contrast up. It's easy. You just push the button up. I might even do it on this video as a little gag if I remember to. I probably won't, but look. So I saw this. A woman's greatest superpower is, and it got me thinking, what is a woman's greatest superpower? At least what will he say a woman's greatest superpower is? Because, you know, I started to think, because I tried to think what a woman's greatest superpower is, and I realised the same as a man's greatest superpower. I don't fucking know. I don't know what a woman's is. Which woman are we talking about? Are we talking about Anne Frank? Are we talking about, I don't know, one of those women on Gladiators? If those will be they'll have two different superpowers. You know what I mean? Wonder Woman's got a different superpower to Jane Eyre, right? They're all different because they're different human beings, right? But obviously we're not talking about women here. We're talking about trad wives where they pretend this is an apple pie. You honey, I made you an apple pie. I'm going to leave it here on the windowsill like I'm your great aunt or something. I'm getting my stereotypes messed up here, but anyway. So a woman's greatest superpower. There were a few things that could mean, what that could be. So the first one I thought was he's going to say something about how the fact that I'm just checking it's still recording. He's going to say something that the fact that a woman is so weak-willed and so, you know, dainty and simple and has no need for the complexities of life the way that a man might will give meaning onto your life as an alpha male, right? So because this woman is so basically shit at life, you will get some meaning out of that, and that's what the superpower is. It's adding to other people's lives, because these aren't human beings, they're merely just DLC for other real men. So that was my first thought, and then I started to watch it and I realised I had to make this video. So what is a woman's greatest superpower? Well, a
woman's greatest superpower,
let's find out,
is you not understanding yours.
Is you not understanding yours. So a woman's greatest superpower is the fact that you don't know who you are, right? So what does he mean by this incredible statement?
Yeah, you gotta understand that
everything about a female nature. There's a female nature and there's a male nature, and these are two separate natures, okay? The female nature is all dandelions and roses, and the male nature is all B&Q car parks. So two different natures, okay? And you need to understand this, all right?
About female nature is about deception.
It's about deception, okay? It's very important that you recognize that what a female does in the female nature, right? Like a David Attenborough. Hang on, I'm trying to do the David Attenborough voice. When you see this is more an American voice, but when you see a female not human. You see one of them, they are decepting their prey. And once they decept the prey, then they will put, I don't know, put a ring on it or something. I don't know. I'm sick of this
Okay?
one.
Makeup.
Gotta get out of that voice.
Heels.
Right, so, women wear clothes, okay? That's very important to recognise because, I don't know about you, but I didn't realise that at first. I thought women were all naked all the time, right? But they were deceiving me into thinking that by wearing these clothes, okay? So you need to make sure that you remember that. So women are wearing heels, they wear makeup, so they're hiding their true face. You can't see a woman's face, right? You know, if they take that makeup off, they might have a couple acne spots or a couple little skin blemishes. So you can see they are hiding their true nature because they are not human. They're actually just chameleons in human skin.
Certain clothing to accentuate the way that they look.
Women wear clothes to accentuate the way that they look. Women wear clothes so that they look good. Men don't. Men just wear clothes, right? Okay, yeah, I do. Like, look at that. That's shit. But right, maybe I'm doing it so that you can see some skin, right? Say you are of the female nature, right? I am deceiving you by wearing one, denim jacket, right? Denim jackets are cool, right? And two, skater sort of shirt, right? That is deceiving you. If you're a woman who likes skater guys, right? I'm deceiving you. I don't give a shit about skateboards, right? But you probably think I do. So you're gonna come to me, and then I'm gonna go, ha, I've deceived you. Now get into the bed, right? That's how it works. Now women do the same thing, but in reverse. You see a woman wearing high heels, you think she's 5'7", then she takes them off and she's 5'5". What are you gonna do then? Nature's a scary place, you know. Strong race of the fittest, survival of the fittest.
BBLs.
I don't know what the fuck are BBLs. Any women not watching this, they probably know. It's a bounce back loan scheme, right? So obviously women are gonna try and get you on a fucking bounce back loan scheme. Those bastard bloody XXs. I knew it. I knew this is what they were gonna do. This is what they've always been doing, right? Okay, seriously, what the fuck is it? Brazilian butt lift? I presume that's what he's talking about because he seems like the type that would only give a shit about a woman if she's got a giant ass. Eyelashes. I know he means like the ones you put on, right? But, my guy, if you can't see that they're fake eyelashes, you are genuinely fucked in the brain. You don't have a brain, right? It's so obvious. Like, they're not trying to make you think they're real fucking eyelashes. It's like getting like a not Da Vinci painting, a painting from Van Gogh or something, and like trying to pawn it off as like it's a real fucking photograph of France. And it's like, no, it isn't. It's not trying to be, right? But it looks nice all the same.
Lashes. Hair extensions.
Hair extensions. Now that. Hair extensions are more proof of the deception. Okay, I'm sick of that.
Filters on the internet. Yep. You don't
Filters on the internet. Made by women that, what?
know when they're on their period. You
What?
don't know when they're in heat.
You don't know when they're on their period. Yes, you do the maths. It happens like every month, right? So think about that and extrapolate the information and use that information to, like, I don't know, buy them some chocolate or some flowers or something. But then you don't have to worry about this, do you, fucking Myron Gaines? You've just got a podcast to
know if they're attracted to you or not. Women.
They don't. But they're the fucking women. What do you mean they don't know if you're attracted to them or not? Women don't know if you're attracted to them or not. Well, unless you're meant to, like, imagine I'm a guy, right? And you're like a cute woman on the bus. I'm just like this. Any woman watching that probably got a weird little, like, yeah, they recognised it was a joke, but they also felt like a shiver because something like that has happened, right? Some shit like that has happened because if you're a woman, you seem to walk around and it just seems like life is just shit, right, in general. Just like blokes fucking like perving you, like and you're small as well, so you could get beaten up more easily, right? I'm all right. I'm 6'8". I can walk around at like 11 at night and not really feel like scared or whatever, even if I'm in a bit of a dodgy area. If I was like a 5'2" woman, right, I wouldn't be able to have that privilege. Oh, but he would hate the fact that I referred to myself as having some kind of privilege here, because men are like the lower class. They're the subjugated race.
Simply don't show attraction.
Women typically don't show attraction.
Everything about female nature is deceptive, guys. So
None of the things you said there were deceptive at
it's
all.
your job to understand what the hell's going on.
If this was true, if all of what he's saying was true about women, right? Say everything he just said was 100% correct, right? Why would anyone get with a woman? Why procreate at all?
If you're deceived,
Also, women don't show attraction. Yes, they do. Have you never had a woman be attracted to you? I mean, okay, no, you've not.
it's your fucking fault for not knowing better.
Yeah.
And a woman is gonna absolutely play on you not understanding your value.
Well, I'm sure there will be women out there that will do that, because, like, I'm not trying to say that all women are fucking perfect. There's dickhead women just like there's dickhead men. There will be some woman that like deceives you. The same way there'll be a man that deceives you. It's not a gender thing. It's just a knobhead thing. There's knobheads in the world and you've got to watch out for them, alright? God. Let's have a look at his scam. Castle Club. Transforming simps to pimps. Alright, let's have a look at this. So, locals.com, Rumble. Okay, so what's Rumble? It's a rights management video platform. Oh, bloody hell. GTA may be going woke. FEMA has money for illegals, but nothing for Americans. New sitting position unlocked. Assassin's Creed Part 28. Okay. Right, so this is like some kind of right-wing YouTube for all the people that get kicked off YouTube, and this is where you end up. And there's people that use this platform that just watch it because it's entertaining for them. And that scares me because everything on here looks like absolute shit. So I'm not creating a fucking account with this website. But it's powered by Locals. So Locals, what's Locals? It's another one. This is like their version. Is this like their version of TikTok or something? Where's just about us, our blog, about coins. What the fuck are coins? Okay, so there's 10 coins equals $1. So they've got. Why can't one coin equal $1? Why can't we just use dollars? Why do we need to make up coins? Or is this like a crypto scam? Also, whenever I say scam, it's just my opinion. Blah 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 blah. You can't sue me. So I'm just having a look through this. Okay, so Locals charges 10% platform fee. So if I want to upload something or something like that, I guess I got to pay. Okay, and he's got a podcast called Not Fresh and Fit, which seems to be doing a bit better. Is that the same guy? I can't. I'm not sure. I don't think it's the same guy. Or is it just he's grown a beard? He's grown one of those like. Also, can I just point out?
Never.
He was going on about women using filters and how that's a form of deception. What is this? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? This eyebrow thing? He's one of those people that'd be like, oh yeah, women, you know, they shave their eyebrows off when they do a bit of that. And it's like, you've done the same thing, mate. But because you've used AI, that's cool, I guess. And also, I recognise that part of the point of these sort of things is to encourage rage. Like, I'm guessing if I go on this...
Why do you think there's
oh,
more
shut up. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Because there's a lot of pro this content people that seem to be on here. Also just random like political stuff that looks like it's been bought out. like statement from Donald J. Trump. Like seriously, what's that got to do with women being less than human? Well, okay, fine, but I just don't. Let's watch another one.
And I tell girls all the time on the podcast.
All right.
So you think
So he tells girls all the time this. He tells us all the time. So if he's saying it multiple times, it must clearly have some kind of impact.
it's attractive for you to be a boss, blah, blah, blah? Yeah, it is. Okay, well, you know what? How about this? How about Saturday nights I wear heels and I wear a dress? Would you go out with me? Ew.
I'm choking on it. I'm choking on my tea, which shows that I'm a weak-willed woman. And I'm crying, which shows that, you know, I'm a soy boy. I don't think that's the relevant term anymore. So, okay, so he's going out of a woman who clearly has some backwards ideas around the idea of gender norms and stuff, because apparently if he wants to wear a dress, this woman will judge him for that. So, and he's extrapolated that one situation where that's happened, because he secretly wants to wear a dress, as he's just confessed. So he's taken that one experience from that one woman that judged him for wanting to be like that, and has applied that to all women, and somehow turned that into a thing that, because this one woman didn't like the fact that he wanted to wear a dress, that means that no women should be allowed to run businesses, because that's what men do. Or something like that. It's very hard to actually extrapolate the point, because I feel like the point is meant to be that, well, obviously the point is that women are less than human, and I should subjugate them and treat them as lesser because they're not like me, and people like me are the best. And these aren't people; these are girls, right? These are bitches. These are females, right? That don't matter. So what's this? Is this some?
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome Instagram. Welcome Instagram. Welcome ninjas.
I feel like if I say what I want to say about this, it's going to be like a whole thing of, ooh, he's being offended by it, but I'm not. It's just training with Frank and he humps random girl. To me, kind of, the fact that he's posted this, and this is one of the few things that he's posted, and it's clearly like a good thing that this has happened. So humping random girls is okay. Obviously, he would strip it back and be like, hey, it's just funny because it's a dog that's done it, right? But you also run a podcast where you treat women as less than human. And what would you do with something that's less than human? You wouldn't treat it with any kind of human rights or any sort of respect because they don't need it, right? That's the logic that I'm using. And it's not that I'm offended on the level of like, like triggered and like shouting and screaming and that, because like, it's just funny to me. But at the same time, it does open up larger and more serious issues and questions about the nature of men and women, and how that, because there is a divide between men and women, and it's not like we can just act like men and women are the same thing and shove away the problems. But these aren't the problem. These are causes of the division, not the sorry. This is the continuation of the division, not the causes of the division, right? So people like this actively want more of this division. They want women to be women. They want men to be men, right? And they would see the idea of that being erased as a terrible thing, because we would all become these grey homogenized blobs. But at the same time, you watching this, if you're a man or a woman, right, is the fact that you're a man or a woman like the core part of your identity, right? Like, I'm a man, right? But I wouldn't say that me being a man is like the most important thing about me. I wouldn't put it in the top 100 things that are important about me. I would put it maybe in the top 1,000 at somewhere like 950, right? And even then, that's a stretch, because stuff like the fact that I really like 70s prog rock, that's more important to me than the fact that I have XY chromosomes, frankly. Or the only time that being a man gets in the way or has any sort of impact on my mind is like, I don't know, if I'm taking a piss and I'm standing up, I sort of think, well, a woman couldn't do that. Or, I don't know. Sorry about that. So, yeah, we were just talking about the differences between men and women and how these people don't want the inequalities to be equaled. They want the inequalities to actively get worse. So I feel like I've kind of run the course of this particular entity dry. So let's see.
I think men live a way harder life than women do in my.
Right. Men live a harder life than women. Just making sure. That was part of the male problems that go on in life, is that I need to keep checking to see if it's recording. Women don't have to deal with this because they will use their fucking iPhones like little bitches.
Modern day society, and that is because women are the more valued sex.
Right, women are the more valued sex. I suppose I would agree, but what? Because sex is not the most important thing around. Again, sex is probably not even in the top 100 most important things to me. I like to have it. It's fun. It's enjoyable, right? And it has, you know, it's nice to form a bond with someone and a connection and all that sort of stuff. I like that, but it's not like it's not the most important thing to me. I don't make it a personality trait, and I don't make my life revolve around sex because I'm not a fucking loser.
You guys carry the next lineage of offspring. With one man and 100 women, you can still continue society. 100 men, one woman, you can't. So women.
Right. But we have more than 101 people on the
inherently have
fucking
more
planet,
value.
man.
But with that said, men and women are not the same once a guy does the work and gets to a certain point.
Okay.
So that's what I mean when I say we don't give a fuck about your guys' opinions, because you guys don't earn the things that you got.
What? What? Hang on. Is the
Acquire a lot of the times. I think.
hang on? Is the point that he's making here that because of the thousands of years of subjugation of women that have led to women being this domesticated subspecies that basically just stay in the house and look after the children, and work was actually discouraged for women because of the gender pay gaps and stuff like that, which do exist still. You know, you've got that kind of thing. And so what he's saying is that because that system of oppression was in place, that means that women are worse because the system of oppression's in place, right? So because the system of oppression is in place and it says that women are worse, right? So women are going to start being worse because of the system of oppression that's in place. And that means that men are better because they benefit from the system of oppression that is in place, right? But also, men are also the victims of the system of oppression as well, and women are the ones that actually do really well out of it, because you see that women are part of the system of oppression, and they are the valued sex, and the men are down here at the bottom because they're not valued as sex, right? Because you can go to a sperm clinic and just like get a bit of men's stuff, you know. You can't do that if you're a man. There's no male equivalent of that. So men are worse and more subjugated than women, right? Because I say so, because...
Men live a way harder life than women.
Oh, was that it? Was that the whole point? That was the entire point, okay. Which gender is more interesting? Okay, no, actually, fuck that. The problem with modern marriages, I want to know.
This is what I've noticed from talking.
What's the problem with a modern marriage? Right. Now, there's a few options. There are a few options here. Now, I've been married, so I could say that I think the modern day and the modern age certainly don't encourage togetherness, and with the way that the economy is sort of slowly tanking and far-right sort of mentalities are taking over, and even though those same far-right mentalities like to promote the idea of family units, they're not actually interested in that. They're only interested in a family unit as far as they are a breeding ground for new generations of workers, and also both the man and the woman have to go to work, but at the same time they'll romanticize a time when men just did the work and women just stayed at home. But we're going to not have any of that. Men and women will both do the work because we need more jobs being done, even though there's way more people around now than there was in the 50s. So So I feel like part of the issue is there's not enough of a societal encouragement for people to come together in a bastion of harmony. And I also feel like a lot of the media out there, and I'm not talking about the media, I mean just literally like films and TV and stuff from like the past 50 years, you often get this representation of a long-term marriage as being this really unhappy and quite miserable thing, of this really quiet, almost sedated couple that just do nothing all day other than go to the garden centre and come back, and then just go to the garden centre again and come back and sit and read the Daily Mail going, oh dear, did you hear there's some bad weather up north? Oh, I read that earlier. That was meant to be a northern accent. So that's what I feel. That's where I feel the issue with modern marriage kind of comes. I also feel like because of the culture that we have at the moment that's so focused on the idea of pushing yourself to somewhere where you aren't at the moment, as in maybe it's grinding, like, you know, the whole grind set mentality, which is kind of adjacent to this, but it's certainly less problematic because it's not, because it's dehumanizing everybody equally rather than just being a tool to dehumanize women. This is just a mindset that dehumanizes everybody that enters it, because then everyone just becomes a little number on a fucking chart, on a map, on an Uber Eats app. But yeah, I feel like the problem with modern marriage is not a lack of connection and will for the connection between the people, but the societal surroundings behind it. For instance, there was a brief time when me and my ex-wife were on Universal Credit, right? And we had to sign up. Universal Credit is an incredibly sexist institution, apparently, because I basically get all the control, right, over her finances, right? They contact me, they only talk to me, they send me the letters in my name, and they send me the money to my bank account, and it's up to me to divvy it out, right? So they even have a page on the Universal Credit thing, which is all about if you get if you're in an abusive marriage or whatever, and like how do you sort that out? It basically just gives you a hotline. It's just like, yeah, just call this random fucking hotline. They'll sort it out. It's like, no, they won't. They won't sort anything out. So that is an example. I also feel like men are pushed to dominate in these situations, and they are pushed to be more masculine focused and generally treat the marriage as a unequal thing where they are on the top and the woman is underneath. And there's an external pressure that comes partly from, like, this would be just a hornet's nest of that pressure, but the pressure exists in the general wider world. You know, the idea of providing is a very backbone idea, and like, you know, I want to try and provide for the woman that I care about. So that leads you down various paths, and if you're vulnerable as a man, you can find yourself falling down a path like this. Not like this, actually, because if you fall down a path like this, I don't have any sympathy for you. So, and the woman that will eventually leave you will be 100% in the right, and God fucking speed to her. So, and that's where my mind is. A very scattered, I understand, that was very scattered as an opinion. Let's see, but I do feel like I at least said something in there. Let's see what these guys have to say about the problem with modern
You guys
marriage.
tend to look at the finish line, but never the race.
Okay. So right away, I'm getting from that he's only met women that just see marriage, and they don't see the path to the marriage. They don't see the honeymoon phase, and they don't see the slowly coming together and going on holidays and moving in together and all that sort of shit. They don't see any of that. They don't see the going to the pub and having a bit of fun with your mutual friends. None of that stuff exists, right? Because as far as relationship is concerned for them, it's going to work and fucking, and that's it. And maybe like watching, like, I don't know, some bullshit like podcasts on the TV.
And what I mean by that is, you'll be like, oh, I want to be a wife. I
Okay,
want to be married. I want
right.
to have kids. But
Right.
you guys aren't willing to
What's he about to say?
do what's required to get to the finish line. You
Okay.
guys aren't willing to train.
Train? What do you have to train for? Well, I didn't realize that they were going to be deployed in Iraq.
willing to practice. You aren't willing to
What?
wake up early and
What?
put the sacrifice in.
What are you talking about? What do you mean, get up early and put the sacrifice in?
And I just find it very interesting how you guys want to be married, you want a husband.
You can't just end it there. Like, that was your series of examples.
But a lot of times you guys aren't willing to do what's required to even
What?
get to that point and become a
What?
wife. Girls want to get married, but they don't want.
But no. Hang on. So women aren't willing to train. They aren't willing to get up early and sacrifice. So all I can think, like, the only thing I can even imagine here is, right, so you and your fiance, because obviously, like, you're on the path to marriage, right? So you and your fiance are lying in bed, and she makes the sacrifice to get up early for some reason. I'm not sure why she's doing that. Why is she getting up early? What specifically about a relationship requires this? I don't have like a 7 a.m. start time on love. It's not like you need to be here at 6:30 because you need to clock in early. I don't understand. So I'm gonna let him finish.
Want to be wife. This is what I've noticed from
That was it. That was it. That was the whole point. That was everything he had to say. Right, okay. Which gender is more interesting? So far, it's clearly the women.
Look, a woman is supposed to stay interesting for a man. So if she
A woman is supposed to stay interesting for a man. No shit! So, same and fucking vice versa. What? Yeah, of course you're meant to stay interesting. What, I'm just going to become a boring individual just for the fucking sake of it? Like, surely, no, you don't stay an interesting individual for someone else. Even if it's like the person you love the most in the entire universe. You stay interesting for yourself and for your own development. What the fuck are you talking about?
she's not doing
See, do you see how equal this is? I get annoyed at the women too.
anything
right?
in her life, sooner or later, the guy will just be bored.
hot take,
Life.
women aren't interesting in
Women aren't in... Why'd you bring them on the podcast then?
general. If you look at the top entertainers, comedians, etc.
Okay. In a patriarchy where the men have run everything for the past 10,000 years, since organized religion took hold, and basically God says that men are the best, right? And since the series of the systems of oppression, the series of systems of oppression has continually enforced this and subjugated women in various ways across history, from the idea of concubines, the idea that women can't divorce a husband, but a man can divorce a wife, the idea that women cheating is like the worst thing to ever happen, but men can cheat, and that's totally fine. The general inequality is there, the idea that women can't pursue lines of work that lasted for thousands and thousands of years. The fact that women can't become priests and stuff, which back, in the Middle Ages was kind of a big fucking deal. There's so many, and the infinite amount of spousal abuse that must have gone on in medieval times and before, up to recorded history, where we can see that the domestic abuse statistics are quite high, and also very much in men's favour. How much of domestic violence is men? Right, so 1 in 7 men, or 1 in 4 women. So, and this is from a institute that is very clearly on the men's side here. That's very like men's rights. So this isn't like we've gone and found some feminist point of view here, right? We found a meninist point of view, and women are double as likely to be a victim of domestic abuse, which that's a lot. And 25 so of domestic abuse crimes recorded by the police, 25% were committed against men. So 75%. Okay, maybe 70%, not counting the non-binaries, right? 70% of domestic violence is against women, which is kind of fucked. That's a lot, right? So that's the general sense of how the world works, right? Women have been subjugated for fucking ages, right? And we're still in a system where men get just automatic rights, like the one that I mentioned earlier about how the universal credit is completely a sexist institution. So I wonder why there are more fucking comedians out there now. I don't
They're all
know.
men. Women just aren't as.
I need to sound less angry because people like this would take it as me being triggered or offended by what they're saying. No, I'm just responding to them being wrong because they are incorrect, and I get a kick out of it, responding to them being wrong. And sometimes it brings about quite interesting conversation. Never on their point of view. I just realised I was watching
A woman
that.
is supposed to stay
Oh,
interested
shut
for-
up. So the idea that women are less interesting than men because there are more comedians out there, right?
They're all men. Women just aren't as interesting as men are because you guys don't have the same burden of performance as we do.
What? The same, but you have more of a burden of performance. If this guy went to a comedy club and there was a woman there. Sorry, I just have to make sure it's still recording. So say these bloody jackoffs go to a comedy club and there's a woman there. Do you think that they're going to give that woman an easier time? Or do you think they're going to judge her comedy a lot more harshly? And if a man told that same joke, the cadence of the male voice would resonate in the form of laughter for these Myron Gaines people. Right, but if a woman said it with a bit of a higher voice and maybe she laughs in a bit of a funny way, like and you know these guys would find it irritating, so they go like, this fucking woman's not funny. So there's I want to find one more because I kind of want to get this done because I am really sick to the teeth of more Donald Trump shit, right? Like, it's very clear that this is all some kind of, I don't even want to say psyop, because it's not a psyop. It's just, I don't even think he's getting paid for these political promotions. I think that he's just genuinely, actively, he's aware of how bad Trump is, and likes the fact that everything that Trump does is bad, because in his mind, everything that could possibly happen that is negative in the world is actually a really great thing. Is this considered cheating? Let's find out. Is this considered cheating?
And that makes a guy a cheater is the lie. Like me, I would never cheat on a woman, but she would have to know that she's not the only one. To cheat
Okay.
would mean that she would catch me doing something. What do I look like as a grown-ass man being caught doing anything?
What?
Imagine I'm a fucking millionaire and catching me. I don't even have that much money. And can no woman on this planet catch me doing nothing? Catch me? I told you what it was.
So is he basically saying, I will cheat, but I won't get caught because I'm a grown man and grown men don't get caught doing anything? What? This one's just bewilderment.
The only thing that
I genuinely don't and cannot understand what that one was even trying to say. So I'm gonna have to move on. I can't do that one. Right. What is a true definition of love? Now, I have a lot of thoughts on the definition of love. I think I would say I'm probably quite a romantic person. So this is quite important to me. So the definition of love. So nailed it fat, harsh but true. Hope these women learn from this show and pick a better life. Sad life these women live in, what they do for a living. I presume like they're prostitutes or something. And there was one part in one of these where basically, it was in the Louis Spears thing. Let me find it actually, because it was right near the beginning. Oh, shut up. It was somewhere near here.
Really give a
No, exactly. How about this? You can get the fuck off the show. Yeah.
So yeah, you see, he's saying get the fuck off the show, blah, 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 right?
Disrespectful. Matter of fact, real quick,
Any
of you want to get up and leave,
yeah,
you can
any of you bitches want to get up and leave, right?
feel free to leave.
Imagine being 34
Where's the
years
bit?
old.
I know. Stop. I don't care about your stupid little commentaries. Here we are.
Your job is a podcast where you yell at chicks.
Because at the end of the day, you guys are all sluts and you.
You're not an alpha male.
Where's
You
the
are
bit?
a loser, brother.
Bro, chat. Real
Here we
talk,
are, here we are.
this is
This
what
is
you
it.
guys are dealing with these fucking girls. They'll be thinking that they are on the same level as you.
That they are on the same level as you.
And you know what's scary?
These stupid bitch.
I don't know how to quite say this to you, but prostitutes are just as much human beings as you. Right? They are not lesser. They are on the same level as you. okay? They have just as much the capacity for intellect and study and adventure and whimsy as you, right? They are not lesser than you because of the line of work they're doing. You run a podcast where you get pissy with women, right? They have sex with men with men for money, right? I'd say between the two, I'd actually say that the prostitute is higher up on the scale of respectable professions. I would if a woman said, "Oh, I'm a prostitute," I would have more respect for that woman than compared to a man who said, "I run an alpha male podcast," right? I would have way more respect for the prostitute, right? Because you know what? That's a hard, honest graft, right? I couldn't do that the same way I couldn't be a sewer worker or an oil worker or I don't know. I'm not good at working in retail, so because I'm not good at the customer service sort of thing, right? So all of those positions, right? Way more respect than alpha male podcast host, right? And I reckon if an alpha male ends up responding to this, they're going to really pick up on the fact that I said I'm not good at retail work, and they're going to extrapolate that to make a new image of me as someone who lets women walk all over me or something like that, where they're going to sort of act like I am victimizing myself in some like feminist world or something like that, when I don't even call myself a feminist. Mainly because I don't really see what use some random bloke coming in and just calling himself a feminist has to offer the struggle that women go through. I can just empathize with the fact that being a woman looks fucking shit, right? I'm glad I don't have to have a period every month. I'm glad I can't get pregnant. I'm glad I don't get catcalled by random fucking jackoffs in the street. I'm glad that I don't really have nearly as much of a chance of being raped and killed or in a domestic violence situation. I'm glad that I get the same pay as I get the higher pay, and the professions are more willing to bring me on because I'm a man, and because I'm a man, I obviously know what I'm doing. I'm glad that I don't have to bother putting in as much effort as a woman, because a woman has to put in, what's the saying? A woman has to put in 5 times as much effort as a man to get the same results and the same level of respect. If I was a woman right now doing this channel, I bet it wouldn't be nearly like as successful as it is, because people just wouldn't appreciate the female cadence, I suppose, and in as high a quality of numbers. There's so many issues with this attitude towards, because biology has already subjugated women enough, right? They're already shit, they're already weak, they already have periods, they already go through all this bullshit that men don't have to go through, right? So nature's done the subjugation. Can we lay off, right? And not add more to it? Can we maybe like work a little bit to take some of that pressure off, and not be doing shit like trying to pass abortion, like make it so that it's illegal to get abortions and stuff? And now that attitude's spreading to this fucking country. Jesus Christ, I'm really annoyed about that, actually. That is actual offended, right? I'm actually offended that there's idiots out there that are trying to bring the idea that abortion is a really terrible thing over to this country, and they start going on about, but the fetus should become a human. Yeah, there's humans already here. Let's look after them. Jesus fucking Christ. So that's what I would look like if I was being offended. Because also being offended is now the worst thing that anyone can ever do. It's worse than like genocide at this point. You can't do any, like, if you've been offended by something and if you had hurt feelings, that's like the worst thing that you could have ever done. And now, I don't know. It's so silly. It's really so silly. And I just realised I was on the definition of love.
Love is when you put someone else's needs, wants, and priorities in front of your own.
I think
Yeah, I could agree with that. That's a good definition. I think it's a little bit simplistic, but as a general idea, yeah.
for women, that's true. For men, no. As a
Okay.
woman, your job is to be an aid, to be a helping hand.
As a woman, your job is to be an aid. Sheesh.
And so by definition, you have to put what you want to do to the side to help him. But I think if a man puts what he's doing on
I don't like where this is going.
the side for a woman, that's not good. I can't put her needs in front of mine because a lot of times it's not going to be for the betterment of our survival. I need to put...
What?
my needs first because I need to focus on work. If I work and I
Because I'm a workaholic and I still put her needs before my own. You can do that. Finish your
make
point.
money, we all win.
I feel like love is when you put someone else's needs, wants.
So hang on a sec. So he didn't name a specific incident of this. I generally would think of this kind of thing, like if we wanted to get specific, right? Just thinking of them and getting them something that's nice, like anything that they like, anything that really means something to them as an individual that you couldn't get for any other person, that kind of thing. I gave some kind of example. This is actually like a little note added in after the fact. Because I named an example and I decided nah. Not even because it was a particularly like privacy breaching example. I just thought, no, you don't need to know the specific example because that's not what matters. What matters here is the fact that you do something for them as an individual and take their traits and their holistic sense of self into account. That's the point I was making. Anyway, on with the video. Say you're walking around with your, the woman, right? And you go into a coffee shop, right? And you get like a coffee and you get her coffee, right? But maybe, I don't know, maybe you also get some food, right? You don't really want to be getting the food because it's a waste of money, right? But it'll make the day a little bit nicer. So, and, it will sort of elevate sort of her mood. So, yeah, go for it. It's like a little thing. And if you're making so much fucking money from not doing all your work, you should be able to afford it. So little things like that is what I think of when I talk about putting their needs before your own, right? And then, because once you get to the wider scope of things, then it's like, duh, of course. Of course they need emotional, like, care, and of course they need a roof over their head and, like, water running from the taps and shit like that. Obviously, that stuff is already covered, right? So when they talk about, putting other people's needs before your own, I think of it as, understanding the little nuances of their personality and trying to make those little aspects feel like they're accepted and comforted in this space that we have made together. Is the way that I would approach this definition of love. I think, on a very basic level, as a sentence, it's a good definition. And then he comes in and is just like, yeah, women do that because women are the fucking aides. They're the servants. And men, we go out and we fucking hunt reindeer for a living. And then we come back home, we slap it on your plate. Well, actually, no, you cook the food and then slap it on my plate. You bloody woman. Okay. Right. Do you want to expose in the global? Let's see.
A lot of these people that are like, oh yeah, global warming is a problem, blah.
Do you want to just completely shift topic for the last 5 minutes? Yeah, why not?
These all got private jets, and private jets cause a lot of fucking environmental damage.
Yes, they do, and that's bad.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, at some point, you have to burn the very fossil fuels you criticize to create these alternative energy. They're sitting here saying,
what are you fucking talking about?
oh, we need to be less dependent on gas.
Yes.
And we need to create these alternative ways of getting energy.
Yes.
But making these institutions of alternative energy use the very energy that you're trying to avoid using.
Yes. How the fuck do you get us off gas then? Without using any gas? What do you want here? Because also, if we did manage to not use gas anymore, you'd be pissed off about that as well. So, what?
A lot of these people...
No, that's the whole point. Hang on. So, celebrities using private jets, which is a bad thing, right? Yes, that is. Also, bear in mind that private jets aren't actually that big of a percentage. Private jets as a percent of emissions. I think it's like 1%. It's 1.8%. Now that's 1.8% that I would like to get rid of, right? But if I replace jets for cars, yeah, it immediately becomes 61%. right? So I would say it's us that are kind of the problem here, the everyday person. And I'm not saying that as like we need to all get rid of our cars, because I can't drive it, but I'd like to get a car and I'd like to go on a road trip and all that sort of stuff. I'm not advocating for like the quote fuck cars movement. That's actually what it's called. Nothing to do with that. Oh, fuck's sake. So about the cut. So yeah, basically, cars cause a lot more of the problem than private jets, but he's not going to talk about that, is he? So
Well, they're like, oh yeah.
I'm going to say there's another global warming one, just so that we can, because I'm pissed off at the women one now. So enough. I've done enough to aggravate myself listening to just the incorrect opinions of Myron Gaines. So I want to find another one about global warming. Sad truth for today's world.
We need to bring bullying back. The more I look at like the feed and I look at...
Okay, that's got music on it.
I've always said this, and I'll say this again. I genuinely don't think that women mature until they stop getting attention from the opposite gender. And
what does that mean exactly? Because attention from the other gender. So the other night, I was at the pub, right? I've noticed since I got into a relationship, there have been a lot more women that have been giving me that eye and have been like trying to chat me up and all that kind of stuff, because they feel the aura of a woman who clearly has a fucking brain cell in her head, who has decided that I'm a safe person to be around, that I'm not going to like fuck their lives up in significant ways, I'm not going to upset them, and I might at some point, but like I'm not going to do it purposefully. So I think it's the same way that like men, as a man, I might have looked at a woman when I was single. I would look at a woman, right, and be like, oh god, she's pretty decent, you know. Not staring like that, but you know, like a little, like you're on the bus and you can see them, and you know, you think, and you sort of imagine what your life would be with them, and how that would be. You imagine, like, say they've got, I don't know, some like T-shirt of a band you like on. You imagine you and her like listening to that band, and then you know, sort of saying, oh, have you listened to this other band? They're kind of similar. And she goes, oh no, I've not heard of them. And oh, you got to hear this one. You try and find the live version. And you're just trying to find the right live version on YouTube, and eventually it comes up, and I don't know, that kind of thing. And then maybe you start sort of singing the song together, and she like picks up on lyrics quite quickly, and that's a trait you really like about her. And you're thinking all this while you're on the bus, and you're looking at this woman, and then like a bloke comes on, sits next to her, and like puts his arm around her like that, and you look at that bloke, and he looks like shit, and he just looks like, and you can tell that she could do so much better than him. And it's and not as in like be with me instead. I just mean in general, you could find a better bloke than that person in particular. But I'm not saying that as in I am the better person. I'm saying that guy there looks like a twat, right? So it happens in both senses, right? Where I think the fact that they're in a relationship causes them to get more attention. And I think women tend to be in relationships more than men, is what I've noticed. That's the closest that I would come to some kind of like, all women are like this sort of thing. From my experience, and it's like experience that can be overridden, women tend to be in more relationships and tend to engage in more of them in general, right? Like I've had 2 in my life. I'm 26, right? And I'm not like, I don't feel like I've not had enough experience with women, because both of those were quite long, like one of them was a very long relationship. So, you know, I've had experience, right? But I've not had like a wider net. Even that feels wrong. That makes me sound like I'm saying women are sort of slags and that, and I'm not saying that either. All I'm saying is maybe it's part of the whole patriarchy thing that's kind of come around from the thousands of years of women's subjugation that causes women to feel like they're only valued if they are taken in by a man who they are meant to be subservient to. Even if they don't think like that, because no woman would actually think like that. It's the general subconscious thing from the world in general that pushes women to think like that. So you end up seeking out a man more often. I mean, it's like in Brazil, for instance, there's loads of women that live in Brazil that get into a relationship purely for the sake of protection. So if you can extrapolate that in a more like Western developed context to sort of be also, the idea that you'd get 2 paychecks instead of 1 because women do work now. So you got those kind of things. So I would say that women do work more. So women are in relationships more than men. But I'm very curious here to see where he's going to go with this.
For most women, that's going to be somewhere around their 30s. They're not going to get.
So because the woman is getting the attention, and certainly, women get more attention than men do, right? But the difference is men get positive attention, women not quite so much. Not that a woman never gets positive attention from a man, like they appreciate and it activates a positive experience for them, right? But whenever a woman looks at a man, it's a nice thing for the man. But the vice versa is not true for women, because it's often like some really creepy sort of guy that's like, yeah. Sorry about doing that. Like that felt weird, even me doing it. But that is what it's like, right? I remember sitting on the bus and stuff with women that I've been with, and like, she'd sort of say to me like, "Oh, that guy's staring at me," and I'd turn around, and you would see someone kind of go like this, just slight turn of the head, like they clearly were looking, but I've not got enough evidence to act on that in any way. Not I'm going to go up and like knock his block off or anything like that, but at least I've clocked him, right? So that next time I can stop. I can like put a stop to this somehow, or be like, give him a stare, like some kind of evidence, because he could have just been looking forwards generally, as far as I know. I don't have the evidence, the visual evidence. I can only go off her word. So I can stare at the bloke next time this happens, but it might not be a long enough eye contact for it to count as a stare, but then I'm just staring at him. So you do get negative attention as a woman compared to if you're a bloke. I remember being a bloke. But anyway, I was a bloke, right? In this story, I was a bloke. And a woman came up to me and she sort of said, "Oh, you're so tall." And I sort of said, "Oh, thanks." And she said, "Statuesque." And said it in kind of an airy voice. And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And I'd just gotten in a relationship at that point. And I thought, hang on, the whole time I was single, no one batted a fucking eye at me. But the second that I get with someone, this sort of thing starts happening. And it's not just that. I notice on the bus or whatever, there'll be a woman that looks over and like has a glance, has a bit of a look. Like, it's not that I think I'm like the most attractive person, but I also know that I'm fairly decent. I'd say I'm a 6 or something like that. I'm all right. I'm not going to start numerically ranking my own fucking attractiveness, or even though I just have. But yeah, I feel like women do get more attention in this regard than men, and relationships, because of the long-lasting patriarchal consequences that have come from thousands of years of women's subjugation, have caused relationships to be more important to women than they are to men, which has led to this difference, which has led to this thing of women getting all this attention, right? Which is going to lead him on to his next point.
The same level of attention they used to get when they're in their 20s, right? They typically wisen up a little bit. They start to realize, yeah, maybe I need to bring something to the table. I need to stop being annoying. They get into an epiphany phase.
I like the idea that the woman is just like consistently aware of them being annoying. Let's say that they're as annoying as he thinks they are, right? I like the fact that apparently they're just conscious of that. Like it's a deliberate act.
Where they realize, like, okay, I need to, tinker here a little bit, maybe lower my standards a little bit to some degree. But when you're someone like
they love it. They love the idea of a woman lowering their standards.
Jennifer Lopez and you're praised.
I wonder why.
No matter what you do and how old you get, you're not gonna.
I think the woman should get higher fucking standards, quite honestly.
That's why she's been in.
Hence the bus anecdote.
All these relationships. She's been married 4 times. She has like 10 different boyfriends. She's a fucking failure. She's literally a failure. I've always said this.
How's she a failure because she's had multiple marriages?
Mature until they stop getting attention
Hang on,
from the opposite gender.
Whoa. So a woman is a failure because they've had multiple marriages, but is a man? I don't believe they are. No, I don't think that's how it works. I just want to hear what you said again.
realize, like, okay, I need to, tinker here a little bit,
Right.
maybe lower my standards a little bit to some degree. But when
Okay.
you're someone like a Jennifer Lopez and you're praised no matter what you do and how old you get, you're not going to mature. That's why she's been in all these relationships. She's been married 4 times. She has like 10 different...
Okay, so Jennifer Lopez is a failure, right? Jennifer Lopez is a failure according to Myron Gaines, okay? She's 55 years old, and she is recently separated from Ben Affleck, okay? Before that, she was going out with Mark Anthony. And before that, she was going out with Chris Judd, who I've never heard of. And then before that... So she had a weird phase between 1997 and 2004 where she got married 3 times in 7 years. So clearly it was an awkward time in her life, right? I get the sense that this Johnny Noah and this Chris Judd marriages, these were awkward times in her life. She didn't much like these, right? That's all right. So let's write them off because I don't think those matter. I think Mark Anthony, yeah, cool. 2004 to 2014, quite a big point in life. Clearly, like coming out of the Chris Judd thing, right? And then after 2014, she takes some time for herself, right? Maybe she's just having various little boyfriends, little things here and there, and then she gets on with Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's clearly quite a nice guy, blah, 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 right? They get married, and then recently they've gotten separated because he's a twat or something like that, okay? So, that's the basic history of Jennifer Lopez. Now, what's Jennifer Lopez ever done? Well, she's only released 9 albums, starred in all these films, gone on various tours across the world, written books, sold 80 million records, her films have made $3.1 billion. I'm just advertising fucking Jennifer Lopez now. So, but she's a failure because she got married 4 times. Okay? So I want to know, in Myron Gaines' like in mind, what would Jennifer Lopez have to do to make her go from a failure to a success? Say she cured cancer. Say she sent man to Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, all of the planets. She got man to leave the solar system, okay? That's what she's done, right? I would love to know what would she have to do for her to no longer be a failure because of how many times she's been married. Also, when did she become a failure? Was it on the 2nd marriage? Was it when the 1st marriage broke down? Was it on the 3rd marriage? Was it on the 4th marriage with Ben Affleck? Or was it maybe when she separated from Ben Affleck? Questions. A lot of questions there. So, how to know if your girl is cheating?
Your girl doesn't just cheat on you.
Okay.
Cheat on you. Girls don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a 304 and I'm going to cheat on you.
I don't know what a 304 is. 304, maybe it's like Cockney rhyming slang. Like, something a whore would do. Because whores do that. That kind of thing.
There's a multitude of factors and
This
things
music's fucking really irritating.
to look out for that leads up to the cheating. It's death by what they call 1,000 paper cuts, right? A bunch of different things happen. She disrespects you a little bit here. She has a guy friend here, and
I like how. Hang on. Whoa. So it's the woman doing the disrespecting and not the man slowly losing his like. I can't do this one. I can't be bothered with this anymore. So that's the video over. Comparing a wife to an employee makes me real fucking glad I'm not employed by him. Oh Jesus. The reason that I'm making this video is 1, to virtue signal, and 2, just because like I feel like this is a real issue. Also because I don't know, there's so many kids now, like high school like boys, that think like this, which makes me really scared for like the next generation, for women going through various things. I feel like, what if, because the whole thing in the 50s and the 60s, that old masculine sort of thing, is to hide your feelings and to box it up and not talk about it and be a rock and be like hard, and not to confess your feelings. And if you do that, then that means you're a weak person and the woman will leave you. right? That's the old idea of masculinity. I feel like the new idea of masculinity is like, at least in the old time, I feel like, yeah, they hated women, but they didn't hate women like overtly. They were just kind of condescending and snide to women. But here it's just straight up like, these bitches are terrible. Like, there's not even that like hiding of the mask and nothing like that. It's just, these people are disgusting and I hate them, and I want the worst for them, and I want them to be subjugated under a reign of patriarchy. But also, men are also the ones that are being fucked over here, and it's the women that are actually on top. It's like, yeah, that's what it was. That I bet is going to be quoted as like, oh, look at him being offended. Because I reckon someone will respond to this at some point, because, you know, I'm wrong on all these sort of topics, and I need to follow that up with something. I'm not sure what, but it's a hard topic because, look, I'm not gonna act like I'm a feminist or anything, because as I've said, I don't feel like me labeling myself a feminist is actually any help. I feel like that would be the equivalent of like in like the 1800s in America, like some random white guy going out to the plantation and being like, you know, I really hate all this slavery stuff. I think it's so wrong. I think that you people should be free. That's how it sounds in my head, so that's why I don't call myself a feminist. But I feel like we really need to start prioritizing women's rights in general, because the next generation of men are being brought up on this shit, right? They really fucking are, and it's genuinely disgusting what's going on, and how the young lads are being manipulated by this shit that makes it out like young men are this lost fucking breed that don't know what to do, that the world has just left behind because boys are no longer allowed to be boys. Boys aren't allowed to get scraped knees anymore. It's like, yes, they fucking are. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of a way to wrap this up with some kind of philosophical kind of point, but I can't think of one. So I think this is probably just going to have to be it. This has been an incredibly long video. Thank you very much for watching it and engaging with it. If you do think like one of these alpha male sort of people, first off, fucking get off my channel and stop watching this shit, and go back to your fucking little crap den and leave decent people alone. And two, I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you managed to get something from it, and that you're going to stop being an absolute despicable fucking person, and I hope that you grow up, right? Because this isn't me sort of saying this as like, oh, thank you for watching, oh yeah, any alpha males watching this, oh yeah, you might get out of it sometime. No, fuck off. Genuinely, stop. Leave women alone, right? Get a vasectomy. Chop it off. You don't deserve it, right? It's not yours. Get rid of it. Donate it to, I don't know, hermaphrodites in Iraq or something. Fucking hell. But yeah, to all the normal people watching this, thank you so much for watching. Hope you managed to get something from this video. I'm not going to make a thing of doing this, because this is what all the fucking YouTubers do. And I want this to be more of a channel about positivity, really, rather than negativity. But at the same time, I think it's important to not act like constantly positive all the time, because I feel like that becomes annoying in its own right, and that can also be a problem. I'd rather be balanced. So this is me trying to do balance. So yeah, I might do more, because there's a lot of them, and I do these sort of things, right, where I react. I don't upload them or anything like that, but I've got my little memory bank, right? So I did one where I reacted to Hamza, who was he's another one of these twats, but he does it under the guise of like business entrepreneurship, and he's just a generally despicable human being, and yeah, that's how I feel about this. Anyone who likes this stuff, engages with it, and looks up to these people in any capacity, I think should, I nearly said they should be killed. And it's not that I don't think that, it's that I can't say that on YouTube. I think that you should learn how to be a decent human being rapidly, because your biological clock is ticking, Mr. Male. So you need to really get on with it and find a not even a decent woman, because you're not going to get a decent woman. Just find some random, I don't know, woman and don't abuse her, please. Yeah, that's it, really. That's the end of the video. Positivity. Yeah. I'm not taking a break from making videos. What I'm doing, I'm making this one because I got kind of inspired to do it, but I'm taking today off from making videos, even though I've done this one because I actually had an inspiration to do it. I'm gonna go out to the park later, but I'm not gonna like take the camera and all that sort of stuff. I'm just gonna go and just sort of be one with myself, and might try and leave my phone here, because I've found myself getting a bit too into the phone stuff and like the internet and all like the Facebook and Twitter and social media and shit. So gonna try and just reset my my physicality. So yeah, hope you got something out of this. And I've been saying goodbye for about 5 minutes now, so it's an hour-long video, so you know, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, bye. Also, I'm never going to upload these, so don't, like, they're not going to be on Patreon or anything like that. But I do have a Patreon-y kind of esque thing that I've been working on, which is just this. So there is a load of like videos and stuff, and I'm figuring maybe I do it like a bit of almost a lottery kind of thing, where you can pay like monthly, right? And say you pay £1, you get a video a month. Say you pay, I don't know, £3, you get 2 videos a month. Say you pay £5, you get 3 videos a month, and so on and so forth until it's a video like every day or every 2 days or something like that. Because each of these has quite a few things in it. Like some of them, and it depends. Sometimes they're just like this. Sometimes it's stuff like this. Sometimes it's like this series that I did ages ago. And this is the most pointless video you're ever gonna watch. Oh, it's really weird seeing me without a moustache. I look like a different person.
Dogs.
Like, it looks like it should be there, right? Doesn't it? It looks like it really should be there, but it's not.
Hi, I'm here today to talk to you about.
Also, I miss my hair. My hair was really good back then.
And to be able to see.
Problem is though, it's a pain in the ass to wash, and when you sleep, you strangle yourself. So that's why I got rid of it. Also, I've got this old series that I did.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Well, it's not that old.
It's Phineas King.
Yeah, what's that? Yeah. Bye.